take a lot of. How's it going, everybody? My name's Dalton. Welcome back to another episode of Garage 99. Today we're going to do the suspension. I've been wanting to tackle it. I've been putting it off. It's going to just keep getting colder, so I got to do it now or I'm never going to do it. But we're going to wait for this thing to warm the garage up because it's incredible. And we're going to do the front right side first. I'm going to try and walk you guys through a little bit how to do it. I feel like I should probably do like more so of kind of tutorials along with the build to help other people out and get this thing off the ground, and we'll get to it. The first thing you want to do, you want to loosen up the lugs. Some cars will have 4. Mine has 3.5. You want to loosen those up, jack the car up, take the wheel off, pop the hood. You're going to see 2 bolts on top of the top hat here. If they're as old as mine, you probably want to use penetrating fluid before you try and move them. Alright, so I'm actually going to start on the old car because everything's a lot cleaner. So you pull the 2 bolts out of the top, those are both 14s. You pull the one out of the bottom of the shock, that's a 17. Now I think we're going to disconnect the sway bar top of the suspension here, so this will kind of just like tip back and fall out. So the sway bar is going to be like a 17. I'm going to take the bushings out, but that thing looks pretty nice. So once we take all this stuff off, I'm going to clean it all and see how nice and how new and how worn in it is. So finally got this out. I want to level with you guys. The easiest way to do this, release your sway bar and then release that top bolt on the arm assembly. And then you can basically just apply pressure with your foot and that whole thing comes down. Once you unbolt the top part comes out, and then you unbolt the bottom part. So that's the easiest way to do that. This thing is pretty nice. I'm gonna clean it up. I think it'll come out pretty good. So while I was pulling this apart, I realized one of these studs on this guy was really short. So what I did was I just pulled this stud out of the other one because we're not going to use that one. Basically, all you got to do, these are all actually hammered in from the back. They've got these lines you can see right there, and then they're just basically pressed in. To press it back in, what you can do is you can grab some washers, put some washers on the end of it, and then tighten the lug nut down to really pull it through. And just like that, I pulled it through. Pretty simple. Out with the old and with the new. This is the Flying Miata upgraded kit. It's got the Tokiko adjustable shocks. It's got stop tech rotors. Very, very good condition. So honestly, doesn't look like there's much of a height difference, if any. Maybe 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. We're gonna ditch this. Might sell it, might keep it. Don't know yet. We're not destroying it. We're not gonna just toss it away. So that took a lot of work to get that front end off. That bolt right there is the biggest problem I've ever had, so we're going to switch to the other bolt, or that was the problem bolt. That's the one we're going to use from the other car. We're going to put that on and see what this side looks like. I decided I want to do the whole front end all at the same time because I have to take the sway bar off anyways. So I took the sway bar off. This is the Flying Miata sway bar that comes with the Flying Miata upgraded stage 1 or stage 2, whatever, the suspension kit. I'm going to reuse all that on the other car, but I figured while I got that tire off and this tire off, I might as well just do the whole suspension. And I also got to do the brakes and the brake calipers, because as you can see, those are nice calipers. This is a 22-year-old car. Those are obviously new. So it's got nice calipers and it's got brand new braided lines. So we're going to pull all this off and transplant it. All right, let's pull the brake line off. This actually looks really, really, really nice. So I'm going to clean this thing up. I'm not really sure what to do with brake lines. Oh god. Oh, okay. Alright. God damn it. Just got the new Flying Miata strut and spring. Got that bolt back through. I used the one from the other car. It was a lot easier. Now we just got to do the brake line, put the full brake assembly back on, and then try and finagle the sway bar in there. Here's the new sway bar versus the old sway bar. You can see how much bigger the new one is. It's much heavier duty. It's got better shackles to it and everything, all new hardware. So I have the front and the rear. This is just the front, but this is gonna make a huge difference with body roll. Since this will be a dedicated track car and partial weekend car. Okay, after a lot of stressing and busting my butt, my back is really killing me, but strut and springs are mounted, braided line all hooked up. Still have to bleed it. Got the pads with the new calipers, with the rotors. So technically, since they are from the other car and they have been bedded, they have been worn in, I don't have to do anything. The nice part was I didn't have to compress this because I didn't pull the pads out. So it slid right on I will try and get some cleaner and clean these up before I drive on them. Got the sway bars, with the bushings and everything up there mounted. Tie rod ends on there. And I also did the bolts on the top, so that should all be good. I also did get that extra stud, so this side should be good. So I'm probably gonna do the other side now. All right, I got the front all done up now. That was a pain in the butt trying to get those top air and bolts out, but front's done. Still need to bleed the lines, and I still need to clean the rotors. Got the back jacked up in here. Here's the car we're taking everything off of. Brake line is the same on the caliper end. On the body end, it looks like we have 2 bolts and a bolt over there we gotta loosen. The brake line's a little different. It's got a manual cable brake line. You have to loosen these 2 bolts and slide it off of this, and then you have to unhook this piece, basically kind of like a brake cable. It's like a standard brake cable on a bike. You just unhook it, pull that thing off. It's got the standard 2 14mm bolts holding it on. Need that for a wheel. We got our rotor. These things are in great shape. I don't even see any grooves in them. There's all our old suspension, braking, all the old brake lines, everything. So we'll get going on this. There's 2 bolt heads on top of there for the top hats. All right, got the suspension on the back. I still have to swap over the brakes. I did already swap over the sway bar. Little piece of advice. So in the trunk, I actually want to open that up for you real quick. Back behind here, this is the hardest part for sure. It's very hard to get to that. So what you want to do, there are 4 8mm bolts holding the gas filler neck, and then you want to pull the bolt out that's right behind here. You obviously have to pull all this out because you want to get to the 2 bolts that are in there. You want to get to the 2 bolts in the top hat. Put a jack underneath the control arms and jack it up so you have pressure on it so it's not fighting you. It's a 14 mil. You want something short, but once you get that all pulled apart, you have your breather and the filler neck, both the necks. Once you unbolt it and take it out from there, you can push it down. It's a little flexible. You can move it out of your way and get to the 2 bolts. Take that out, you take this bolt out and the bolt in the bottom, and it comes out. Real easy. So we got the full suspension in. Now we gotta put the brakes, calipers, lines, rotors, and the pads on the back, which shouldn't be that hard actually. Car's almost done. Did the full rotor swap, sway bars, full suspension with struts and springs, all the caliper swaps, end links, pads, and the stainless steel brake lines. You just gotta bleed the brakes. I wanna clean the rotors too while we got each corner off. So honestly, that took me probably 5 to 10 hours by myself. It was a lot of work. Basically, we just gotta bleed the brakes, clean the rotors, get in alignment, put some insurance on this thing. And then we can pull the motor in this, pull a couple other things, and then this thing's out of here. So that's gonna conclude today's video. I wanna thank you all very much for watching. Peace out, keep turning those gears.